Hey guys, welcome to our van tour. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Natalie.
And this is our van pancake. We actually named her after the pancake cactus, or I think some people call it the prickly pear cactus.
We've been traveling full-time in Pancake for the last 5 months, and before this we actually traveled full-time in our mid-size schoolie, Saguaro, which we just finished selling last week.
It's still a little sad, but honestly the van has been treating us right and we've really been enjoying traveling in her.
So Pancake is a 2019 Ram Promaster 2500 with the 159-inch wheelbase. So when you look at Ram Promasters, you can pretty much get the 136-inch wheelbase, the 159-inch, or the 159 extended. So we got the middle of those three, and it's been the perfect amount of space for us. It's about 20 feet long, and I'd say about 9 feet tall. These things have a weight rating of 8,900 pounds, and even with our build and all the wood we put in, we came in at 7,500 pounds. We also bought window covers to go up at the front. They have like built-in insulation, so they help keep the temperature regulated inside. They also give us a ton of privacy. We've seen a lot of people with vans who will put up a privacy curtain back here instead of having the window covers in the front, but the window covers just work better for us because we turn our chairs around and use them in the living space. We really wanted to make sure that we had a dinette, so that was a big reason we wanted to have the swiveling chairs so that we could kind of use that space as part of the living space and not just have it be dead weight when we're not traveling. So to make it a dinette, we just flip this table up from the wall and this chair swivels like that. We have had 4 people in here to play Catan and it's reasonably comfortable. I mean, it's no bus, it's hard to beat a bus, but it really works for us, especially when it's just the 2 of us. It's overkill. We also have a lot of people ask us what we do about a bathroom because if you look around, there's no fixed walls. So let me show you. We just flip this table down and you can't see it super well from where you are, but I can flip this up and we have a Nature's Head composting toilet in here. So this wall gives us a little bit of extra privacy, but we're also pretty chill about kicking each other out of the van. It's not a big deal, it works for us, and it's something we only use maybe like 15-20 minutes a day tops, so it just didn't make sense for us to have a fully closed off space. So we keep all of our bathroom supplies in here, like toilet paper and stuff, and I don't need to give examples, I guess. And the toilet is vented out through a hole in the wall. And this platform that I'm standing on gives us a little bit of extra flip-up storage. The reason we built that in was so that when you sit across from this chair, these 2 chairs could be the same height and you're not having your feet dangle way above the floor. We could have fit a shower in here, but we were on a big time crunch for this build. We only had 2 months to finish the entire conversion, and we just really didn't have time to put in a shower. So in addition to this flip-up table for our dinette, we also have a flip-up countertop that extends our kitchen space. So we have a full 7-foot kitchen countertop in our tiny van. We don't have any AC in the van, but we do have multiple fans. We installed 2 Max Air fans in the roof, and we made sure to get the deluxe version, which has the rain cover, and that's been so nice because if it starts raining, we don't have to worry about having a bunch of water leak into our van. We can still leave the fans on and running, and it's not going to be a problem. We also decided to spring for these slightly fancy 360-degree fans. And you can point them in any direction, so we can point them like where the driver is, the passenger, or over here. They're like $120 each, so they're a bit of a splurge for us. We have one up here and we have another one over the bed. They've just been so worth it for us because we found that even if you don't have AC, as long as you can manage the airflow when living in a van, you can stay reasonably comfortable, especially considering that we tend to chase the weather. If it's gonna be too cold or too hot to enjoy doing things outside, there's not much of a reason for us to go to a place. So we like to try and stay where it's around like 60, 70 degrees, and then we really just don't need AC. So we don't have any overhead cabinets on this side of the van, and that's because we really wanted to keep it open. To be fair, we were a bit spoiled by how large and open the bus felt, so we wanted to keep a little bit of that whenever we transitioned into the van and avoid making everything feel cramped. So instead of having extra storage, we just tried to pare down on more of our things, and so we were able to add in like these lights and some plants and some art and things that really just make it feel more like our home. Should we talk about the kitchen?
Yeah, onto the kitchen.
We have a nice, reasonably big sink. It's perfect because we wash all of our dishes in here, so it's really nice having something deep that you can really get into. Jimmy washes all the dishes though, so I don't really know. For our sink, we decided to put it in this spot where we can open our door and turn it around so that it points outside. This gives us a really easy option to have an outdoor shower, although we haven't used that yet. I don't know when we will, but it's really great to have the option. We're mostly just big Planet Fitness people. One thing that I don't think we could really comfortably live without is hot water. So we have a small tank hot water heater, and that just makes it so much more comfortable getting ready in the morning. If it's really cold, it is so nice to just turn on the water heater and get hot water. I think that's something I'll definitely never take for granted again, no matter where I live. It is electric though, so it pulls quite a bit of power. Oh, and for our gray water system, we have a 6-gallon blue jug underneath here. So the sink lets out into this big jug, and then we take it out whenever we need to empty it. We also keep our trash down here, some soaps for cleaning dishes, and all of our toiletries. Jimmy has a basket up here, and I have a basket down here. And over here, we have our silverware drawer, and most of our things that we use pretty often while cooking. In this drawer, we have some extra food storage. We keep some snacks, some meal stuff, some canned foods. And down here, it's where we keep pretty much all of our pots and pans and our cutting boards. And when we're driving to keep these closed, we installed these little barrel latches, which we forget to latch like all the time. Whoops. So this just happened again. Whenever we remember, they work great. We installed a paper towel holder, which I was a little skeptical as to whether or not this would work or if it was just gonna roll everywhere. One thing that helps a ton is we have one of the ratcheting ones, so if you listen, it like keeps itself from just spinning. And if it gets really windy, we'll just put one of our dish towels over it to weigh it down. So we've loved having this. It works pretty well, and it keeps us from having paper towels just floating around the van with no real home. Up here is where we keep all of our dishes. We have 4 plates, 2 bowls, 2 cups, and a coffee mug. Some of our kitchen towels go up here too. We went with ceramic stuff, which I know a lot of people don't like because like they could break, but they haven't yet. And we like how they look and feel. Feels more homey. It's all held on by this little latch, and that's plenty to keep it shut while we're driving. This cabinet is really similar, but we just keep a lot of food, all of our spices. I keep my tea up here, our rice, pretty much just more food storage. But between here and that drawer I showed you down there, that's pretty much all of our food storage that's not refrigerated. This is our 2-burner electric cooktop, and we use this to cook pretty much all of our meals. We don't have an oven in here, so we rely on this for pretty much everything. I use it about twice a day. I'll make tea in the morning, and then I'll cook dinner on it at night. It does pull a pretty big amount of power. This is an electric cooktop. It's not induction. And we installed it on a switch to try and protect our inverter. So basically we have 2 things in the van that can pull a ton of power. One of them is our electric hot water heater, and the other one is this electric stove. So we installed these on a switch so that you can only turn one on at a time, and we don't accidentally have both going at once and overload our inverter. If you turn it to the left, we have hot water going to the sink, and then if you turn it to the right, then it powers our electric cooktop. Or in the middle, turns both of them off. Next to this, we do have the USB plugs that we use to charge our phones all the time. We have an AC outlet that we mostly use for kitchen appliances, and we also installed our overhead lights on a dimmer switch so we can choose what setting we want to have them on. And then back here is our subway tile backsplash that I love. It's not real tile. A lot of people think that it is, so it's pretty effective at creating the illusion. It is peel and stick tile, but it's the textured kind. So it is a little 3-dimensional. It has like more of a glossy texture to it, so it's not just the paper. We love this. It saves you weight, it saves you money, and it was so easy to install. Not sponsored. We do have a second outlet that I forgot to mention, and that is under the dinette. And finally, for the kitchen, we have our 12-volt refrigerator. So it holds a pretty good amount of stuff, and it does have a small freezer compartment that It's actually totally empty right now. We don't really need that. But we love having all the fridge space so that we can have fresh veggies in here. This is one of the cheaper 12-volt fridges we found. I know they can get to be like several thousands of dollars, but we found this one for about $600. It's not one of the big brands, but it works pretty well and it was cheaper than a lot of the ones that we found. And next to me is our couch. It is pretty small, but we have tons of storage under here. So if we just lift it up, we have a little bit of extra food storage. We go through a lot of tortillas, so we'll buy a couple bags at a time, save some in here. That just helps us kind of manage our food when we're off grid. Our rice cooker goes in here, our shower bags are in here, just pretty much miscellaneous storage. We try not to let it get too out of hand, but I mean, we have to store stuff somewhere. And next to our couch, we have this little door. We use it mostly to keep our shoes in here, and then we also just have a little bit of extra storage and our laundry bag. So it's really important whenever you're living in a vehicle, you gotta make sure that you have a designated spot for your dirty clothes. It can get really annoying and out of hand quickly, and also it's nice to have somewhere to kind of tuck those away so that they don't smell whenever you go out and get really muddy. This is totally open. We have like a shelf in here to kind of get more storage, but in the back, it's totally open out into the garage, so it lets us get some airflow back there. And whenever it's really, really cold outside and we have the heater going in the living space of the van, we'll actually sleep with this door open so that we can get heat back here to our batteries and keep them from getting too cold. So we went with a fixed platform bed because we know ourselves. We know that we're too lazy to try and set up a dinette every morning. I've seen a lot of ingenious designs with stuff like that, but we know ourselves. We're not gonna wanna set that up. I do make a point to make the bed every day because it's just such an easy win when you live in the van. It takes like 2-3 minutes and the entire van just looks so much cleaner. So back here is the other Max Air fan that I mentioned earlier, as well as our other 360 fan. I also tried to make it a little bit cozier by adding these fake eucalyptus vines and the fairy lights. It just makes it feel really cute and cozy in here at night, and I love it. We did create bump outs because we needed enough space for Jimmy to lie head to toe in the bed, and we really, really wanted to lay this way as opposed to having the bed face perpendicular to how it is now. We knew that it would give us the most space in the van, and so that was really important to us, which is why we have this bump out you can see here, and the other one, it's a little bit hidden by these pillows, but we do have some extra space so the mattress goes further back on both sides. This is a full-size mattress, and Jimmy is 5'10". So he fits great, probably cutting it a little bit close though. And up here is where we keep all of our clothes. This is Jimmy's clothes storage, the neat one. This is all of Jimmy's clothes in here. We've both really been able to pare down. And then here are mine. That's all my clothes. Not too bad, but it's a little messier. And also back here, the van came with these 2 windows. We absolutely love them. They're really nice for a view and just give us some extra visibility and light in the van. But we do have these window covers that are on magnets. They just pull up and snap into place. They're super easy to use. They were a bit pricey, but I think it's worth it for us.
So that brings us to outside. This is our garage area. We specifically designed it to be just tall enough to fit our 2 electric e-bikes. We love these things. We've had these for just over a year now, and we have close to 1,000 miles between the 2 of us on these bikes, and they fold up, which is really nice. So we keep them under here, and when we want to use them, we just roll them out, and it's ready to go. Behind where we store this e-bike specifically is where we keep all of our electrical components. Like Natalie mentioned, inside we have 2 really big energy draws, and that is our electric water heater and our electric stovetop. We only have 525 watts of solar. I mean, I say only, but it's a pretty good amount. But we do have 600 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries that have been just a lifesaver. We can go like almost a full week with some really stormy weather where we don't get that much solar and still be able to run both our heater and our stovetop. Next to our batteries, kind of wrapping around, we've got our big 3,000 watt inverter, and next to it is our 40 amp DC to DC charger, which is just what we use to hook up to our van's alternator so we can charge while we drive. Going down, we just have our DC fuse block, and that is connected to all of our lights, our fans, our USB plugs, anything that runs off of DC power. And next to it is our AC circuit breaker. These are connected to our outlets inside and just adds a little bit more security for whatever you plug up to AC power. Other than that, we just have our WeBoost right here that is connected to a small antenna that is on our roof, and we use it to boost our cell signal while we're inside the van. For our internet, we just use our cell phones and the hotspots off of them. So being able to boost the internet while we're out in the desert like this really, really helps. We originally wanted to put these bikes on slides so we could actually slide them all the way out and then get them out. But since we did the build in 2 months, we kind of had a limited amount of time for projects like that. So that was one that got cut. But honestly, I'm glad it did, because what we did instead was we added these shelves that sit above the back tires. So here we put like extra tools and toolboxes, and then this one is the one that Natalie pointed out from the inside. It's where we put all of our shoes. So the final compartment is where we put all of our plumbing. We've got one 40-gallon tank here with an inlet, and this is how we fill the water tank. And the rest of it's pretty much just our plumbing setup. We kept it really, really simple. We basically just run the water through this small filter, through the pump, through this thing called an accumulator tank that just helps it smooth out any pulses. And then after that, it runs through our 2-stage RV water filter before it leads either to our sink or a hot water heater. The water heater is a 2.5-gallon tanked water heater. It's not instant like the one we had in our last build, which we kind of miss a little bit, but it is nice. Once you get it up to temperature, you can turn it off and basically have hot water all day, and it doesn't draw any more power other than that initial draw. The other great thing about it is that it allows us to not have any propane in the entire build. Other than the water system, we use the space for pretty much the rest of our storage. We've got a new hammock stand that we'll set up if we're in a spot for long enough. We've got the rest of our tools, as well as some cables and some outdoor lighting. One thing we forgot to mention is that we did install a Webasto gasoline heater underneath the passenger chair here. And the install was so easy. We basically just cut a hole, put the exhaust pipe out, which is fed right out at my knees right here. And the fuel line, we were able to hook up to the Promaster gasoline fuel tank. The Promasters, thankfully, have a little nub, like a little accessory nub that you can hook something up to, and it was a perfect match for our Webasto heater. So we try to center it as much as we could, and we can shoot it straight down the middle while we're in bed. Honestly, 15-20 minutes in the entire van is a nice, comfortable temperature. If you're interested in anything you just saw, we do have an 8-video playlist out that covers our entire van build start to finish, and we can put a link to that in the description and at the end of this video.
Those are probably the best made videos that we have ever done. So I think that it should be pretty concise, and it should have all the information that you would need about all the aspects of our van.
We also do weekly travel videos where we showcase what we do in the van pancake. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.